One mean grip. The first story I told about my parents' cabin happened when I was 12. That was the first inkling I had that the place wasn't right. Now I'll tell you all about the last incident I was privy to in that place. This is the one that sealed the deal for me, and I ain't been back there since. The college I attended just happened to be an hour's drive from the cabin, so when I determined that was where I wanted to study, my father gave me a spare set of keys to the place, and told me if I ever wanted to go there, maybe for some peace and quiet or as a place to take a girl on the weekend, I just had to follow his set of rules about the place, but was otherwise welcome to come and go, anytime. Of course, by then the last place I'd want to take a girl was a run-down shack in the woods. It didn't seem like the type of locale that would put a girl in any sort of mood, except maybe fearing for her life. Needless to say, I didn't take him up on the offer. Until senior year of college, my roommate decided to ask me what the keys were for, since I always left them hanging on a hook by my desk. I told him about the cabin, and he got it in his head to have a little party out there the next weekend, inviting his girl and a couple of other friends along. Now I ain't no idiot. I've watched my share of horror flicks, and this scenario he had come up with screamed machete-wielding psycho murder spree to me, and I said as much. How I ended up driving out there late that Friday night with my buddy in the navigator's seat with a box of beer at his feet, 2 girls in the back of my car, and another carload behind us, I can't rightly say, but that's how it ended up. The cabin's set on the edge of a lake, so it wasn't long after we arrived that people were stripping down to go for a swim. I ain't keen on going in that water because of a leech incident I had when I was younger, so I just sat on the dock and dangled my feet in the water while everyone else splashed around. If you don't move, minnows will come and nibble at your toes, and I figured that feeling plus a light buzz would get me through the night. One couple who I didn't really know started drifting off from the rest of the group, probably to do something mischievous in the deeper water. I was being distracted by the girl my roommate had hooked me up with, as she tried to coax me to get a little more wet. I didn't want to spoil the festivities with talk of leeches, so I told her someone had to guard all the valuables because there's a high chance of wild animals sneaking around and making off with them when nobody was watching. That's when I realized that amid the screams of laughter and splashing was a different kind of scream. It was night, but clear, and I could see that one of the couple had drifted off. Only the girl was visible, and she was not screaming in a happy way. Everyone else sort of quieted down and stopped swimming when they realized something was wrong, but I was way ahead of them. I had already jumped in, waded out into the muck, and then swam as hard as I could to where she was howling. He still wasn't anywhere in sight when I got there, but she was blubbering and waving frantically and couldn't communicate right, so I didn't stop to figure it out. I just went under and felt around. That water is murky as hell and full of God knows what, so it was a blind fumbling I was doing. It didn't take long to find him though, because he was just under the surface, putting up some kind of fight, grabbing at his leg and kicking. I reached down to see what it was caught on, and I swear to God, I felt a hand, as cold as a witch's soul, gripping the guy's ankle. I couldn't pry the fingers loose, so in a panic I did the only thing I could think to do, and I bit the thing at the wrist, getting a mouthful of filthy lake water and the disgusting taste of that thing on my tongue. It was like biting into a greasy chicken leg. The hand let loose, and then jerked out of my grip and disappeared. I wasn't of a mind to go searching for it, and I'd kinda used up my air biting it. So me, the guy, and his girl hightailed it to shallow water so fast, we probably could have run on the surface of the lake. When we all got to shore, I told my roommate what I felt holding the guy under, and we ran to the dock, watching the water for signs of someone swimming off. But there wasn't anyone else out there. All the fun had drained out of the group, so the rest of them went inside to dry off and get a fire going. When we finally gave up and joined them, the guy showed me his leg, and there was a bruise forming around his ankle, clear as day, like a wrap of 4 fingers and a thumb. And if you think that's freaky, even more bizarre was that judging from the bruise, the thumb was unnaturally long, wrapping the full length of his ankle and touching the tips of the other fingers. We didn't even stay the night. Everybody got dried off, warmed up, and then we packed our stuff back in the cars and got the hell out of Dodge. That was the last time I visited that cabin. And when I got back to the campus, I found a leech in my shoe, busted on the bottom of my foot from being stepped on.
Hey there. Thank you to all who support us through Patreon. Your contribution goes a very long way to keep the nightmare tales coming. And if you're not a Patreon yet, please consider joining. Also, a very special thanks to the Dark Cosmos who bought us lunch. It's very much appreciated. I hope you'll all continue to support us, and we'll continue to strive for our goal to bring you the highest quality content we can.